Okay, good morning, everyone, and welcome back. A little bit of technical issue there this morning, and so we had to start over. Okay, let me say hello to some dear friends, guys, as you get your notifications again. And thank you for coming on live. We appreciate it. Andrea, how are you from Niagara Falls? Mike from Norland. Brahim, there you are. And Nativity, good morning to you. And Rita, hello from Wasaga. We appreciate it. Brahim's having his coffee. Madeleine, how are you from Kippawa, Quebec? Rosa, Moriat. Fran from Orangeville, good morning. And Carol, West Virginia. And David from Ridgeway. There's Kevin from Oshawa. Nick from Marsta. Good morning. Maria, Ottawa. Wendy, Markham. And Sandy from Fergus Falls, Minnesota. And someone went up into the clouds. Suzanne, Edmonton. Tina, good morning to you. Bonnie, how are you? Jeanette, how are you? Frida, good morning. And Arlene, and the sun is back. Yeah, same with Sudbury. Wanda, Virginia. Elaine, St. John's, Newfoundland. Norma in Texas, good morning. Darlene, South Carolina. And who's in Stouffville? Milica. And, I couldn't see it. Faye, good morning. Bruno, how are you? John, Lafroy. Cheryl, West Virginia. Oh, Marilyn, Kelowna. And Keith, good morning from Bell River. Patricia, how are you? And Donna. And John, how are you? And Sherry, oh, I want to sing. And Dave, sunny Muskoka. Another Patricia. Doris from Kitchener. And Sherry from Mississauga. Leela, Berner. And Luella, how are you? West Tennessee. Maureen, Penticton, British Columbia. Tina. And Lorraine from BC. And John, how are you? And Sue, good morning. And who was that? I missed you again. John. Sorry about that. Kathy, in the clouds. Linda, how are you? There's actual Mary in New Brunswick. Elaine, how are you? And Meta from Leamington. And Sharon, Kansas. And Yvonne, good morning. Okay, let's get going. Gary, okay. Now, what I want to do is finish up on these studies. And we talked about a few yesterday, but let's continue on here. Here's one. Even in obesity, okay, regular exercise is a huge benefit. That's the headline of this study, that even with obesity, regular exercise is a big, big benefit. And we agree with that 100%. Vitamin E, exercise, and I would tell anyone that's struggling. Here's what I used to do in the office, by the way. People that were, really obese, real obesity. I tried to get them to focus on a couple of things. One, let's not worry about your weight as much as you getting strong. If you get strong, and here's let me just say this, because the reason is because some people have an enormous capacity to make fat cells. Like unbelievable capacity to make fat cells. And that's really important. Because some people, they look at food really, and I mean, it's not like they don't eat it. It's just that they have an unlimited capacity to make fat cells. And you can put two people in a room, eat the same food, and one is gaining weight. And that's because of their, there's other hormone factors, there surely is. But I used to try and get them to focus not so much on the scale, but on strength. Because the key is muscle. And the more we study muscle, and I mean what I know about muscle today compared to what I knew when I first graduated in the 1970s, is unbelievable. It's an endocrine organ. Your muscles are bins. They help with in metabolic syndrome like nobody's business. It helps with insulin. And I'm telling you, if you can change the focus from the scale to strength, okay? I like that, 2 S's. Change the focus from the scale to strength. We're hung up on scales, weight, and weight loss. I wish people would change their focus from the scale to strength. So many people are skinny and they're sarcopenic. They got no muscle. And that is far more dangerous than being overweight. I can tell you that. Skinny, but no muscle equals high inflammation, metabolic syndrome, insulin resistance, and they can be skinny. I don't want people focusing in on a scale. I want them to focus in on strength. And I don't care if you're 80 years old, you can get stronger. Your muscles are waiting for them to be activated. Now I know it's a big challenge for some. But I'm just telling you, a switch in there from the scale to strength makes a big difference when it comes. So regular, even in obesity, regular exercise, a big benefit. And they were talking more, not so much cardio, but muscle. And cardio's all right, guys. You can do some cardio. I like walking. I do. You can get on a treadmill if you want. And people are, I was talking with someone yesterday about exercise, and I said, people are stuck in the 80s. The 80s, the 70s, and the 80s were cardio. Jogging. I told you, my dad was the first person in the world to jog. I believe that. I don't know if he was, but I always say it. Because in 1968, my dad started jogging. We didn't even call it jogging. He just started running because he found out he was a diabetic. He completely changed his lifestyle from eating to exercise. And I'm glad he did because he got me going. But people, as you know, and even today, people go for runs, and I'm not against that. But a lot of people think that's the best thing to do. Well, really, what the research is showing is no, it's not. It's good, but you know me, good, better, best. The best is building muscle. Isn't it interesting that as we discover that, and it's because we've been looking at, and not, medicine doesn't look at it because they're so far behind, but generally, doctors that are really interested in researchers are finding out that muscle is another endocrine organ. It's like having another thyroid. And if you build it, you're really making a big difference when it comes to your body. Not only, I used to say this for osteoporosis. Doc, what should I do for osteoporosis? Take calcium? I said, no, go to the gym. What? Go to the gym and get strong. If you got strong legs and you have strong muscles, they're anchors. They'll anchor into your bones and your bones will get stronger because of it. Strong muscles, strong bones. And people, not always, but there's I used to tell women that were slim and getting into menopausal years, I said, you gotta be very careful for osteoporosis. You don't have enough muscle. You're tiny. That's nice, but you don't have enough muscle. You better get strong, or you're going to be very susceptible to osteoporosis. And calcium isn't the key at all. That was the big push when I was in school. Calcium. Take a calcium supplement. Calcium. No, really, they were mistaken. Okay? So again, even in obesity, regular exercise brings big benefits. Okay, here's another study that I found interesting. I flagged it. And it was talking about ageless vitality. And according to this study, there's 3 things that are really important in anti-aging. Okay? And I liked it because it made a lot of sense. And they said, things that you won't think of will help to keep you younger. Okay? Your mitochondria. Okay? Those are your battery packs. And they're really hitting the headlines today. Energy. In the brain, in the heart, in your organs. Energy. Muscles. Energy. Mitochondria. ATP. The fuel that you burn. And mitochondria health is really becoming important. And what they're saying in this study, it's a very important factor in anti-aging. If you can keep your mitochondria firing on all cylinders, those are your battery packs. Okay? You're an EV. You're an electric vehicle. Okay? Your body is the first electric vehicle. And you run on batteries. Your mitochondria. You learned that in high school. Right? You learned about the mitochondria within your cells. Muscle cells, bone cells, brain cells, heart cells, right? You learned about that, mitochondria. And you learned about ATP, the energy that your mitochondria produce. And what they're saying in this article, that's really important, that your mitochondria be strong. Now, one of the things that even in this article it talked about is one way to keep your mitochondria working is CoQ10. CoQ10. Ubiquinone. CoQ10, it's an enzyme. Your body makes it. But you need to eat CoQ10. And that's found in the animal kingdom. Hello. Energy at the mitochondrial level. And far too many people today, they don't even think of it, are low in CoQ10. Well, I'll tell you one thing. If you're on a statin drug for cholesterol, it destroys your CoQ10. That is well established. And that's what bothers me about pharmacists. Because they know that. They know it's a side effect. And they're dispensing, Lipitor, Crestor, Zocor, and they don't even take it into consideration. They should have a bottle of CoQ10 giving it to you along with the prescription. Now, You don't want to get me going on cholesterol medication. But, over the age of 65, 50% of the people over the age of 65 are on a statin drug. The world's number one selling of all time medications based on a false premise, in my humble opinion. But nonetheless, CoQ10 is extremely important for energy and your mitochondria. Your mitochondria don't work properly. And your heart is a muscle. And and without CoQ10, your heart muscle, your brain cells get damaged. The mitochondria get damaged in there. Ageless vitality. You need mitochondria. Eat meat. I can't get over how silly our world has become. Because we don't talk about meat near enough, and when we do, it's negative. Cut down on meat and eat grains. I never heard anything so silly in all my life. It's the opposite of what one should do. Ageless vitality. Stay young. You need your mitochondria to be working properly. Releasing that ATP, that high 99% octane. And people are running around fueling themselves with 87. You should be a jet, using jet fuel. You're a rocket, man. I think that was a song. Okay. New study, ageless vitality. All three are important for anti-aging. One, mitochondria. The second one, they say, are telomeres. You remember those. Okay? They're little caps, little wee wicks, like a candle wick, that protect your DNA. I find that fascinating. When I was in school, we knew mitochondria existed, but we had no idea that your DNA had a protective substance called telomeres. I'll tell you guys, if you don't believe in God, I don't know what to tell you, and I mean it. I don't care if you call me religious or not. I really don't, because when I study the human body and I go, like, that can't happen by chance. That's not possible. To have telomeres to protect your DNA, like, unreal. And you can think of that, of these little wicks, and the longer your wicks, the more, the healthier you are, and plus it protects your DNA. Isn't that something? Telomeres. And I really like eating well. That protects your telomeres. And antioxidants, they protect your telomeres. Fascinating. And then they talk here about the third thing. So mitochondria. They talk about telomeres that we didn't even know about until the more powerful the microscope becomes, the more we understand, and we just get fascinated by the human body and how it operates. And thirdly, they were talking about stem cells. These are regenerative cells. Okay? And you need your stem cells to be working. It supports your immune system. Regenerating cells. Your body is always regenerating. You're 80. Your body's regenerating. Your cells are still, if you can keep your stem cells healthy, it's really important. And this is why, like, I'm big on one of the things with stem cells is sleep. And that's why I wrote the book, Sun, Steak, Steel, and Sleep. Sleep's really important to regenerate. You guys know that. You have a self-cleaning oven in the brain. It only gets turned on when you're sleeping. It's called your glymphatic system. And it releases stem cells. At night, these glial cells, they get rid of waste in the brain. Remember, anytime you have energy, a manufacturing plant, like a mitochondria, it's got debris. It's got waste. And your body is made, when it's working well, to get rid of all that waste. You got a self-cleaning oven, but it works when you sleep, and it's important to sleep. You got to do everything you can to get a good night's sleep. That's when your body is, it's not receiving data. It's in airplane mode. Okay? And your body's regenerating when you're sleeping. It's really anti-aging. Well, it's anti-everything, because sleep is so important for your immune system and your heart and your brain and you name it. You name it. Your brain, the cleaning department comes in when you're sleeping. But that's the rest of your body too. Your liver. Your biggest detoxification happens at night. And a lot of people don't relate that to their health because, you know, they look at sleep as almost like an inconvenience. Like, I got to be up. I got to do things. I got to get going. And they don't realize that, you know, what we know and study about sleep. I mean, I'm going to go back a lot of years here. I talked about sleep when I wrote a book on chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia. I mean, that was well over, I don't know, 35 years ago or whatever. And I talked about the lack of sleep. They're exhausted, but they're not sleeping. And then I went to the adrenals, and the adrenals are releasing cortisol. And cortisol, hey, it's on your side till it's not. Cortisol is a hormone, your body, you need it. Cortisol wakes you up in the morning. Cortisol gets your blood pressure going to wake up, and your blood sugar going to wake up. But it's not meant to be at high levels all day long, because it works with, it's supposed to work with your circadian rhythm, you know, high in the morning and very low at night. That's the problem with people. And when you get like a chronic fatigue syndrome or fibromyalgia, that's completely upside down because the adrenals become exhausted. And they're, you know, even with exhaustion, you're secreting too much cortisol. Oh, my cortisol is low. Well, it's not really low. Okay? There's other factors there, but you're drained. Cortisol will keep you awake, or you might fall asleep and then wake up in the middle of the night. That's cortisol. It's the fight or flight, and it'll keep you, if it's not regulated properly, it'll keep you from the rest and digest. Okay? Rest and digest. That's airplane mode. Okay? It's airplane mode. And that's the problem. Most people don't get into that. So this anti-aging article was very interesting. I liked it because it went into some of the root causes of premature aging. Look at guys, we're all going to age. I'm sorry. You know, I'm sorry. It happens, right? But mitochondria, protect them. One of the best things you can do is CoQ10. Eat it. And if you need to take a supplement, you take ubiquinol, CoQ10. I do. Secondly, telomeres. Protect them. Those wicks that protect your DNA, and they know antioxidants. Even water. Did you know water protects your telomeres? Washing. Clean up. Water it not only keeps your blood flowing, but it's a washing. And getting rid of toxins. That helps your telomeres. And then those stem cells, regenerate them. You want them regenerating. And the low-hanging fruit for that is sleep. Get a good night's sleep. Your body will take care of the rest. Put everything on your side to sleep. A cold room. Wear your mask. Not for COVID. Wear a mask around your eyes. Okay? Dark, pitch black. You make more melatonin. Okay? I'm not big on melatonin as a supplement. I never have been, by the way. Okay, I know it's still probably the number one selling sleep aid, but I'm never big on it. I really like vitamin D better and getting out in the sun during the day and then pitch black at night. You want to make melatonin? That's how you do it. Your body makes it. And I never found my issue with melatonin as a supplement, it has a shelf life. And meaning that, it might work initially, but then it don't work anymore. That was common a response from my patients when I was in practice. I was more interested in sleep and cortisol. Getting cortisol regulated. I was going to the root cause. Anyway, okay. New study on ageless vitality. Work on all three. Your mitochondria, your telomeres, and stem cells. Okay? And by the way, B12, vitamin D, work on all three of these. B12 and vitamin D work on all three of these things. Okay, that was interesting. I found it interesting. Maybe you didn't find it as interesting as me. Okay, I think tomorrow is Friday, and if that's the case, it's question and answer Friday. Wow, already. Send your questions in. Not too late, guys. info@martinclinic.com. info@martinclinic.com to make sure we get your questions. I like answering questions. I mean it. Okay. We love you guys. We'll talk to you soon.